Right, guys, so back home in Spain. Um, One of those days yesterday. First thing was got to the train station. Well, before I got to this train station, it was hot yesterday on the walk down because it's about a 2 mile walk to the train station. So I had to stop off and actually get a towel from the I think it was a pound stretcher or something, like a small towel, just to take some of the dripping sweat off us. Because it was hot yesterday. Get to the train station, signals are down at Northampton, train's cancelled. Okay, what do I do now? Then the next thing is the train that was going to London was going back to Birmingham. Hopped on that, but it wasn't going to Birmingham airport. It was just going straight to Birmingham Central, which is okay because I thought, okay, get on there now, otherwise bus services or whatever, no idea when they're going to happen. So I basically jumped on the train, got to Birmingham. I thought, okay, I need to find the next train to the airport and have a quick look round. Okay, went to the next train. I'll have to tell them that I was supposed to go going straight into the airport from Northampton, and then it's like, oh, it's the train I'm on. So that was a little win. Got all the way to Birmingham Airport. Security wasn't too bad. It was busy, but it wasn't too bad. Straight through that. Went to Giraffe, my restaurant where I love my ribs. They don't do ribs anymore. And then from there, the plane was a little bit late. Then I got to the airport. And getting my car was a little bit late because it was very busy for the guys running their cars back, because they pick you up at the airport. It's like a shuttle service, so I had to wait for that as well. So it's just like, because sometimes it goes like wrong back to back, and then when it's right, there's no sort of issues. And I think a lot of this is like life. When you're sitting there getting frustrated, like I was yesterday, I wasn't bothered about the flight because the first thing I think of, I've made it to the flight. So with the train stuff, I'm sitting there going, I've got 4 hours. So I go up to Birmingham City, even have to pay for another train fare, which I shouldn't. I'm not too fussed because I'll make the plane. That's all I was bothered about. Then when I get to the no ribs, it's just like, okay, I'll try something else. I'll try something new. Opportunity. Then the plane was all right. I actually ended up with 3 seats, the full row to myself with the extra leg room, so that was nice. And then some women behind me decided they wanted to sit next to me because for some reason my area was cooler than theirs, so they wanted to go and sit. Well, I'm not fussed. I'm sitting reading a book. What was I reading yesterday? Reading Confidence yesterday. Now, the weird thing about this, the author of this is, I think she's originally Iraqi by her own definition, because she says she's Iraqi in the UK, so I assume she still defines herself as Iraqi and not British. That's my own interpretation from her words. But it's the lens. I instantly read straight away that she had some very narrow viewpoints and seemed feminist orientated. In the first chapter, it sort of screamed out because when she was talking about impostor syndrome and other issues, the reference were women statistics. Just women, not people, women, very specific. And then there's a bit on, she's talking about stereotypes and how that can, and it puts like a false bias or racism, whatever she was nattering on about. My view is stereotypes exist because people do it. My personal view is don't be a stereotype. That's how I define it. Don't be don't whinge people see you as a stereotype if you're doing what is the stereotype. That's the reality of it. That's simple. I'm from Scotland. Violent alcoholics are stereotypes or very friendly people, depending who you speak to. So Point being is, avoid being a violent alcoholic, and you're halfway there. Simple as that. Avoid being a pro-Scottish independence without any context of why you want the independence. Those are the sort of things, because those are things I hear from a lot of English people. So the point being is, the reference on this is, why get hung up on people as stereotypical? Stereotyping is a natural thing people do. It's the fight or flight thing. When you walk into a village that's not yours, or you're seeing somebody on a hill that's not from your tribe or whatever. There is nothing wrong with interpreting a situation. If you definitively lock that person into, I won't speak to them because they are, then that's very different. Because if you're making the judgment on that individual based on the fact that they are, I don't know, they're I don't know, Nigerian, they must be a Nigerian scammer, when in fact they're a nurse. So the fact is that that's stereotype, scammer, Nigerian, bang, lock it in. But when you actually engage with them, they go, I'm a nurse or whatever, then you already know they are not the stereotype. But the whole risk factor comes in. I don't know this person, that's why a stereotype exists. But anyway, that's what I was reading on the plane. I thought there's a few screamers on here that says she's got a lot of the issues she has is around herself. And she admits that. That's one of the things I will say in the... she talks about having her own heckler, and this is something that I do recognise from stuff I was seeing in Birmingham, because when I was working up at Millennium Point, the groupings were very specific. The security guards are predominantly Pakistani, and I do say Pakistani because I think 2 or 3 of them actually got declined access back to the UK when they went back to wherever it was to get married, because they were overstayers. The cleaners were generally Jamaican. The engineers were white British, and when I say they, it's literally 2 people. And the students were predominantly Chinese, and they all have stereotypes of each other, so they don't engage with each other. But I spend time just engaging with everybody, because I just take everything as, I don't know any of you. I'm not, you know, I've got no issue with anybody, I don't care. I'm more just engage. And then, funny enough, the security guys would buy me lunch, and then the engineers that I work alongside said, why are they buying you lunch? I've been here 4 years, they've never asked me. Because they go out every lunchtime to go and get food. But the thing is, I just treat them like everybody's the same. Do I still have stereotype viewpoints myself? For me, I'd say it's guarded, and that's the difference. When you first meet people, you don't know them, so you're standoffish. But that doesn't mean that you're assuming everybody's a threat. It's just, the assumption is you don't know. So you're not calculating in a way that you can't trust anybody. You're calculating the way people have got to earn trust. I don't know, I've got off on tangents just because I mentioned this book yesterday, but the same author wrote Manifestation, and it's another book she did. It's another one on more manifestation or something like that. Yeah, Manifest. So, but she was obviously very insecure. There's the author there. Because she was talking about her chin. She had a nose job in her 20s. She did a lot of this stuff is people do to themselves, and I think that's the bit she was trying to focus on. But she did throw in some of the like the impostor syndrome. I think if a lot of people have got imposter syndrome, it's probably because they know they've been over promoted or something. Because but I look at it from my perspective, you see. Although I've done a lot of training on critical thinking and counselling, etc., it's very difficult to see it from a perspective that's not yours when you're into how somebody's head is working. So when people think they're not good enough or whatever, it's normally stuff A, people have done to them, and B, stuff they do to themselves. And I do think that's where this would probably fit in for anybody suffering with that sort of stuff. But I will say, like I said, it is a female's viewpoint, and I don't mean that in the sense of, oh, you don't like women. It's a case of her viewpoint is very feminine. Because like I said, even her stats are quotes about women, not people. Which then could be skewing the numbers as well, because we do have a lot of the Me Too promoting people because of the Equality Diversity Acts and stuff like that, which means people will become over promoted simply because they're a tick box, and it does happen. People just don't want to talk about it. So that sort of thing's skewed, but the information itself, I think many people would find that quite practical, so that'd be useful. I didn't find any use in the book myself, but it was I could see how other people would think. So why did I get a book on confidence? One of the things I do is I analyse things all the time. So I read a lot. See, like there's another book, my recent one. What they don't teach you in Harvard Business School. Badly behaved people, how to deal with idiots at work. Think like a CEO. I'll teach you how to be rich. How to change your life. I wouldn't pay a premium on this, you see. I only paid $7. I literally wouldn't pay it, because there's no way that this book was ever worth £22. But I thought, you know what, I'll see different people from different perspectives. How to captivate and convenience any audience on the planet pitch. This is my next read. Why? Because I'm doing a lot of speaking. Well, not a lot of speaking, but I've started speaking at events. So I do actually have to put a bit of effort in. As you probably notice, I read a lot. And it's not because I have all the answers, is I look at things from other people's perspectives. It gets back to the point I was making. It's difficult to see things from other people's perspectives unless they're fully explained. So I read all their books. I learn from them. Because I don't have all the answers. Never said I did. And I never will. All I can do is interpret the information out there. So that's what I'm doing at the minute. A lot more reading. So getting back last night, car's absolutely filthy, so I'm going to have to take that in for a jet wash. But it's good to come back. It's good to work. Got to admit, the office does need a major tidy up. We can have a wander around if we want. Yeah, let's have a wander around the office. And it's not a big office, it's a room. So as you can see, the desks looking a bit junky. But that's because the boys been dealing with some of the music stuff in here. So obviously we got the drum kit there, the new microphones there as well. But got to have a bit of a tidy up. The same out there. I'm going to need to do something there. I'm thinking of buying a garage at the minute. Then obviously out here, that's this new stereo. I don't know why he's left it out here. I'm not going to whinge at him because, to be fair, he's a good lad. But yeah, got a new stereo over here. This one takes the CD. See, it gets very dusty here because of the beach. Takes CD. I think the tape deck in the corner and the vinyl on the top. Because the boy's getting into music. I think we'll have to buy something to put the music. I think I'm going to put the music stand over there. And obviously our vinyl collection's starting to grow over there. Look at the state of the shelf, it's already bowing. So I've got to do something about that. I'm going to have to move the vinyl. Yeah. So he's got his mates coming over at 8:30 as well tonight. So they're doing a barbecue, all coming out here, his band. Let's have a look out in La Mata. Let's wind this back a little bit because I've just put this down a little bit, a bit too low. Let's wind this in. Oh, I'm gonna have to get some oil on there. Let's rust it. So as you can see, holiday season's in full swing. which also means I'm not actually parked in my own street. I'm parked around the corner. Ow! And the grass is red up. Ow! Should have put my shoes on. Nice and quiet in the afternoon. Everyone's enjoying the beach. I'm going to get my lounger out as well. He looks like he's a bit dry. I mean, I get it. He's a cactus anyway, but give him some juice. There's my lounger. That's going to be back up in a minute. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on there, relax. So yeah, it's good to be home. What else is there? Well, the thing is, I think I'm going to be going through some changes, but in the work sense, I'm changing direction. Tried as hard as I can where I am. First time in my life, I probably have to say I've just got to call it what it is and just move on. It's a strange situation to be in, and I can't really talk about it at the minute because there may be other stuff going on that I can't engage about. But good to be home. Been away about 3 months now, so coming back, it's a lot more chilled. UK is getting more expensive. The landlady just shoved the rent up another £50 a month. Doesn't sound a lot, but when I moved in there, I think the rent was £375, and I was speaking to the guy that was in the room before. It was £300 before when he was there. It's now £500. Now I can afford it, but I'm getting to that point where I started asking the guys about if I buy a house, do I want to move into it? Because to be fair, it's becoming not worth renting anymore. Now I can start to see, I get it. I mean, for me, I don't even want a house in the UK, so I get it where some people may not want to do that because it does lock you down. But if I've got 3 guys in there and I give them a reduced rate in the sense of I just lock it in at the rate we're in for the next 3 years, so what they're paying, because bearing in mind their rents have all just gone up as well. So the fact is, if I lock it into like last year's rates for a minimum of 3 years, then I don't think I've got any problems. The guys will quite happily move there because they know I'm not going to mess around, and to be fair, the cost of living doesn't go up. I'm not really fast. Or I lock it in and go, you know what, we pay that rent, and whatever it goes up, we'll work out what that is, and we just split it. So the council tax goes up by whatever rate it is, £1,000 a year, I have no idea. Then it just gets split 4 ways or whatever, and that just gets added to the bill. So it's sitting above the cost of living regardless, but it's not excessive. But anyway, that's life. So it's good to be back. Got a lot of reading to do. My university course finishes next week, so I've got to scrub up one of my whiteboards here and prepare for that, because I've got to go everything I've done in the last 2 years and try and avoid getting caught out with something that I forgot because I wrote some of it 2 years ago. Don't think it'll be difficult because I'm pretty good at walking through stuff. So as long as I get a pointer on what I'm talking about, I can sell it very easily. But beyond that, it's all good. How's the gym going? Well, you probably noticed my face is looking a bit thinner. About 12.7 kilos down from when I went to the UK about 3 months ago. I've gained a little bit yesterday, but to be fair to my wife, I had a burger at the airport, which I wouldn't have had. I'd have had the ribs, and the ribs wouldn't have had any bread. So, and then we had a brunch when I got back. Well, not brunch, a late dinner, because obviously I left the house yesterday at about 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and I hadn't had breakfast or lunch. So it was like I ate at the airport about 4 p.m. and then I ate when we got back. So I've got a little bit of excess food on at the minute, and I'm not doing the treadmill till tonight simply because my son's doing a concert today, so I'm not going to get all sweaty at this time of day. I'll do it tonight after his mates have been. But it's good. It's good to be home. I just want to also add, this is a bit of an output, that you can set this sort of life up. Now, I work in data management pretty much, and it's asset management. So my focus is often around spreadsheets, and lots of them, and regularly, and it's one of those things where it doesn't matter where you are, the only time that you're sort of locked in is if they need you on site for something. So the fact is, they removed all my project stuff at the minute, means I'm not engaged on projects. The fact that I'm not really involved with what I normally do because other people have basically taken everything over, means the only thing I'm sort of working on is data that they then adjust and interpret to suit themselves. So from that perspective, there's not really a need for me to be anywhere but in front of a computer providing the data until I eventually get tired of it and then do something else, like find a new job or something. Which is a weird scenario for me, because the data they've been relying on it's actually reshaping the business because it's correcting a lot of things from the past. But hey ho, we are where we are. It doesn't bother me. I'm not run down with it. I'm not negative about it. I just see the fact is, it is what it is. Which gets back to the airport. So when my shuttle bus was late, so it come out, looks and goes, there's no more space. It's like, okay, wait again. And instead of getting frustrated about it, I just look up and just think, it's good to be home. That's it. And that's the key with dealing with a lot of the stuff that goes on in life, is a lot of the stuff you have, you can't control, but you can control how you react to it, which is the important bit. And if you can step back, hold the line, interpret the information, and when you got people trying to push you and see how far you can go, if you've got that ability to just home in what they're trying to do, what you need to do, what they expect your reactions are going to be, and then counteract it, you control the narrative. They're trying to, but it doesn't matter what situation it is. It could be the fact they lost your luggage. Well, okay, lost my luggage. What am I going to do about it? It's gone. Maybe I'll be lucky, stuck in a taxi and send it to the house. I was on holiday, we go, okay, where's the form? Let me fill the form in. Right, I'm going to go enjoy my holiday. Work all year. I'm going to enjoy the holiday. This sounds like a tomorrow problem. Yeah, all my clothes are in it. Good, I'll go and get some shorts and t-shirts for the next couple of weeks. It's all the interpretations, because a lot of people get annoyed and frustrated, and yet it's often the person you're engaging with that has no control in that situation either. They're sitting there thinking, oh, they've lost his suitcase, he's going to do his nut, and I'm going to be shouted at for the next 20 minutes. He's going to have a meltdown. I haven't lost a suitcase, by the way. I just thought that'd be an easy one to cover, especially this time of year in Spain, because it's holiday season. But you just got to just grim and bear it. Put yourself in a better space. It doesn't mean let people walk over you. That's very different. It's just a case of you need to recognise the situation you're in and adapt to it. If you feel you're getting annoyed, think about what's annoying you. Because sometimes it's a you issue, sometimes it's a them issue. Either way, what's the output and what variables are there? Yelling at the person at the desk, is that going to fix you? Absolutely not. They're probably not getting paid that well, and they don't need you shouting at them. They didn't do it. And it is about that bit of space between people with a little bit of respect, regardless of what the situation is. Sounds very guru stuff, but it's not. It's just, I find there's too many people fighting over stupid stuff these days. You see people, like in your TikTok videos, fighting at McDonald's and things like that. I mean, for goodness sake, the people aren't paid very well. They get abuse all the time. And then you come in just to make their day that little bit worse. Why? Well, because you're having a bad day? Leave them alone. Calm down. Give them a thanks for that. Oh, sorry, you forgot my ice cream or whatever it is. Because I'll be honest with you, I do not expect to get my order anytime I go at McDonald's. I don't go very often, but they get it wrong more than they get it right. But I don't get annoyed by it because I just think, yes, I get it. You're going to sit there, customer service, customer's always right, blah, blah, blah. But then you're back on the argumentative rant. But when you go, I asked for this, and you give me this. It's diffused. You're not angry. You're just going, look, you got the order wrong. You don't have to tell them to fix it now or whatever. They know what the answer is. I remember years ago, I had a chicken burger and I opened it up and there's a big lump of fluff on it. And I went, come out of the drive-thru and I went, what the? Went straight back in and said, look, we should have gone to the newspaper, should have done this. I'm like, look, I'm not interested. So they gave me a load of vouchers and the meal I actually ordered. So I'm not we try to create too many issues because the media is trying to create issues out of thin air. Because that's what people are watching. There's stuff about, I went into a restaurant, got the food I ordered, sat down and had no problems. Doesn't really make much content, does it? And that is the reality, because the argumentative stuff is recycled. So if you look at the videos and look how old some of them are, but you're seeing them all condensed, and it doesn't matter what political cycle you're on either, because a lot of this stuff is done through algorithms and stuff intentionally. So you're seeing whatever your thoughts are on a targeted subject. So you will get that narrow view because they know you're going to watch more of that stuff. So why do they do it? It's called consumerism. They know you will watch the next one and the next one and the next one because your history of what you watch shows that. So you put yourself down that avenue. It's why you sit and listen to, sometimes I try and listen to things from perspectives that I really don't understand. And then you realize the stuff they're interpreting and talking about is down these algorithm viewpoints. Rather than going, okay, these guys say this, these guys say that. What does the history book say? Oh, they're both wrong. Which is normally things the majority of the time, because they get into these little avenues, because opinions and algorithms give a narrow window. But anyway, I know I've gone on for long enough, nearly 30 minutes. So guys, enjoy the weekend. Don't let anybody bother you. Don't get upset. Take some time for yourself. I was going to say peace out, but that sounds a bit hippie. So just have a great weekend.